Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Taxocos coming to you from Dundas, a small town within the greater Hamilton area. Today the focus is on this small but historic town of Dundas. If you are watching me from the comfort of your homes, sit back and enjoy as I take you around Dundas. The first port of call, of course, is this building behind me, the Dundas Town Hall. The historic Dundas Town Hall has a unique distinction of being one of the oldest continuously serving municipal. It is one of the most handsome municipal buildings built before 1850, still surviving in Ontario. Most municipal buildings of that era were torn down and replaced because the towns outgrew them and larger facilities were needed. Constructed between 1848 and 1849, the Dundas Town Hall building was recognized for its heritage value by the City of Hamilton in 1977. And received heritage designation under the Ontario Heritage Act. Designed in a version of Roman classic, the building is said to have cost £2,500 by the time of its completion in 1849. Another historic landmark here in Dundas is the old post office and clock tower. Built in 1913, the Dundas post office building is dominated by a 100-foot Venetian clock tower. When business trends changed in the late 60s, the building stopped operating as a post office after serving the Dundas community for 90 years. The building was almost demolished in 1973, but public pressure saved it. Sometime after 1980, the clock stopped working. Exactly when and why, no one knows. But it was later refurbished and brought back to life. Today, the building is a ghostly trace of its former self, with very little activity going on. But the noble Venetian tower is still a majestic feature in the landscape of downtown Dundas. Like many other towns and cities, Dundas has its own museum and archives, where residents and visitors alike can learn more about the town's history. As I walk towards the entrance to the museum, my eyes are met by this giant metal structure. It is the Bertram steel hammer. It was made in Dundas by the John Bertram and Sons Company in 1939. Many large-scale industrial manufacturing machinery used around the world were designed here in Dundas by the Bertram and Sons Company. Steam-operated hammers like this one are designed to shape large pieces of iron. This particular one was in use until the 1990s, when it was replaced by more advanced electronic machinery. It came to the Dundas Museum in 2018. Inside the museum itself is Marley Beach, the administration and marketing coordinator, who is happy to show me some of the artifacts on display in this museum.
Dundas Museum has been around since 1956. It was imagined a few years before that by the Dundas Historical Society, and they formed a committee to create the museum. Our main focus is the history of Dundas and the history of the valley. So all of the items, or we strive to have all of the items do with the story and how we can tell the story of the people who've lived here. So we have early industrial items, we have items from the fire department and police services, the people who were serving the town. One of the really interesting items is actually on display just behind me here, and is a hand-painted banner that would have hung from the tops of one of the buildings. So Durham's responsibility is the hand-painted banner I was talking about, that would have been flown or hung from one of the tops of the buildings, and I believe was found in the vault underneath the Collins Hotel.
What was the purpose of this thing again?
To remind Durham what...
No, in those days, what did they use it for?
He was passing through. So Lord Durham was a representative of the British government sent to Canada to negotiate and see how to avoid another situation like the American Revolution. They didn't want the colonies to rebel, and so Durham was here to negotiate with the colonists and to recommend ways to make a happy colony, really, how to keep the colonists happy.
My interest is on this. It seems it's of significance to Dundas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it forgotten about for some time, and then it was suddenly discovered?
That seems to be the case, but I believe it was found in a vault underneath the Collins Hotel, and when they were renovating, they found it folded up in a vault, and they didn't realize it was down there for many years, because it's the only example we have.
And that army uniform I see over there.
Yeah, that was another Dundas veteran who went to war, Boothby, and we found the dog tags in his uniform when it was donated.
You found what?
The tags were tucked inside of one of the pockets. He was in the Royal Engineers division of the military.
Is he one of the soldiers that served in one of the Great Wars, the First and Second World Wars?
This one is First World War. So this is First World War, and then over here we have Teresa Woolsey's uniform, who was from the Second World War. So we have First World War on one side and then Second World War on the other.